mods who are not cultured at all. Stop dick riding. I don't want to hear, like, when I'm asking general questions, I'm not asking y'all niggas. Stop dick riding. Y'all niggas is black. You're black. You're just black.
Just be yourself and hit them with hey. Also, I just bowed the Anarchy hoodie yesterday. Can't wait. Finna resubscribe in a little W female viewer. Big 2 months December 9th.
Thank you so much. Bro, you're just fully American. You're African American, bro. That's it. How was that see you in 30? That wasn't an insult. That was strictly, you're black. You're not Trinidadian. You're not Jamaican. You're not African. You're not, word. You're not Ghanaian. You're not Dominican. You're not Puerto Rican. You're not Cuban.
It hurt me to wake up and see my beautiful black people suffer, victimized by the oppressive, harsh realities of the hood. I guess even though we were free, we were still slaves in the mind.
Message! Tabby Trolling, CEO, Clout Team Entertainment, best rapper on the YouTube, hands down, no questions asked. And we all know slavery is a choice. Check this out. So cENAT said absolutely nothing wrong. I'm gonna say this. I 1000% agree with what cENAT just said. I'm finna tell y'all why. Y'all getting caught up on the culture. Y'all getting caught up on the messenger. You can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. One thing about the truth, this is why it's called the naked truth. The truth is simple. The truth will always be the truth. It doesn't matter what form the truth comes into or comes from. Example, it could have been cENAT. It could have been a random white person. You could have read it on a book. You could have read it on the internet. You could have read it in a book. You could have seen it on TV. You could have heard it from the person that you hate the most in your life. But one thing about truth is, it always be true. Don't, y'all trying to kill the messenger. You probably waiting. I digress. Y'all heard of Dane Calloway? Dane Calloway. Subscribe to Dane Calloway. I'll put a link down there, right? He's one of the original people that brought to the forefront that we're not African Americans. We were already here. The transatlantic slave trade in itself is just a rabbit hole. It didn't happen. Long story short, that didn't happen. And he's right. And let's just break this down real quick. If there's being harm done to Chinese people in America or Asian people in America, if the powers to be, the people in the government, was tired of tolerating with any non-Caucasian, white, ethnicity and or race, and they just want them out of the country, so to speak, I want y'all to think about this for a second. Two things will happen. You want to get rid of them? Guess what? You can deport them back to their home, right? You can deport them. Stay with me. Or you'll be hearing from the country of origin. I mean, yeah, the origin of the country. You know what I mean. For instance, Asian Americans. You're going to hear from the Asian community on the other side of the world where they are from. Mexican Americans. What you want to do with Mexicans? What you do? Send them back over there to the border. Nobody has to back in Mexico. But I'm making a point right here. Indian Americans. We don't want y'all in our country. We're going to mistreat y'all. We'll have to hear from the Indians in the country of the origin. Or we will deport you back to where your relatives and your lineage came from. I'm going to say this one more time before I get to what I'm trying to say. Asian, Chinese, anything that's non-white, if they have a problem with you and your group and your race and your ethnicity, there is absolutely nothing but a drop of a hat to either mistreat you, but they'll get hurt, they will be hurt, or they can deport you. They can report you back to where you were originally from. Now, here's the problem. In comes African Americans. I'm not African American. There are really no actual African Americans is a very small percentage. We're talking about Afro Americans. Afro means indigenous. Now we cook with grease. I say all that to say this. If you get tired of black people and you just want to keep mistreating black people in America, what are your two options? You can't ship them back to Africa because we're not from Africa. This is our land. Think about this for a minute. You can't deport us. You're not finna call immigration on no African American boy and or woman. For what? Why would you call immigration for a black person? Wanna know why? Because we were already here. Why does systemic racism perpetuate in the mainstream media and we hear absolutely nothing from our African across the sea, across the ocean? You hear it from the Chinese community. You'll hear it from the Irish community. You'll hear it from the not Mexican, I'll take that back. You'll hear it from the Indian community, the Chinese community, the Indian American community. They're going to have something to say about that. Who has our back? Who can we call? Because Malcolm X not walking through that door. Martin Luther King is not walking through that door. So the last thing I'm gonna say is I'm gonna leave y'all with this thought. Just leave y'all with this quick thought, okay? If you can't deport us, what's the only other means to get rid of you? How about we just unalive y'all or imprison y'all? I'll say this again. You can't get deported. They're not worried about Ghana, Zaire, any other African country. They're not worried about them having any backlash for doing any wrongdoing to black Americans, so-called African Americans. Sometimes y'all use our common sense. That's why you see what you see. You can't deport black people. So if you want to get rid of black people, what do? You got two choices. We incarcerate you or we unalive you. Just simple as that. Slavery is a choice, man.
It hurt me to wake up and see my beautiful black in the mind.
Message.